Welcome to my shop. What you're about to see are true tales in the life of an amateur woodworker. A little forewarning, some of the images you will see are not for the squeamish, and it only gets worse from here. I decided if I can put up pictures of my successes in the woodshop, I certainly owe it to you to put up the failures. A couple weeks back, I had an accident with a router. I've had 25 years of woodworking experience without a single involvement with a running machine. Making progressively more intricate projects, ranging from some of the equipment you see around my shop to a guitar, a replica of a Stradivarius violin, and lately I've been working on these Kamiko end-on lanterns. And that's what I was involved in when this router decided to take its revenge. You can see that the blade protrudes from the fence at least a half an inch, but that was after the accident. When I started, I was making a simple 3mm rabbet cut down the edge of one of the stiles that make up the lantern's frame. You can see on the piece involved in the kickback, however, that this 3mm cut suddenly and rather unexpectedly became almost a half-inch deep, and therein lies the problem. Okay, don't tell anybody, I gotta make a confession, but you know, a little while back I was bragging about making my own woodworking equipment, like the stands for my saws and the router table. Well, one of the parts slid, the fence moved on me. Saved a lot of money on my router table. I'll spend a little more on the emergency room. 30 days later, the fingers look decent. They still hurt, but this all was the result of a blink of an eye. Okay, so I'm doing the math on this. We've got a router bit doing 23,000 RPMs, and that's 2 blades on a half-inch bit, so there's 46,000 blade strikes per minute. Once this thing got up to speed, kicking back out of the router, every strike was 3/8 of an inch, and there were 54 of those strikes over the course of the 27 inches, which I calculate, and I could be wrong. It was 37-mile-an-hour exit velocity, which all adds up to a lot of blood, instantaneously. Let's go take a look at the router table to see where I screwed up. Let's start with the 2 most obvious problems. First of all, I'm working on about a 1-inch piece of wood, and I'm making a cut close to 7/8 inches tall. So that means I've got a very small piece, and my fingers are going to be directly over the router bit. That's an absolute no-no, even in the best case scenario. Second of all, I was using, to secure my fence, these T-slots, nice equipment, but I was running them directly down through an MDF base. And as a result, the heads could spin, and I couldn't get solid friction. But I fixed that by redesigning the table with integrated T-slots. So now the screws cannot spin. I get an absolutely tight fit. There's no motion. This is not going anywhere. This is how I should have done it in the first place. Finally, and I can't stress this enough, even though I got away with it for close to 15 years, my fingers in the process of pushing this through and keeping it tight to the fence are directly in the danger zone, even though the wood is protecting it on a good cut. By the time this thing shot out at 37 miles an hour, going backwards, my fingers were pushing nothing but air and went straight into the blade. So yeah, I don't need you to tell me how stupid the maneuvers are or how unsafe my performance was. I get it, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. I am extremely attentive to detail and, for the most part, safety. And yet, in a moment of trying a new location for the fence and working with a very small piece of wood, I had an accident happen that I got it, like I said, got away with it for 15 years without it happening. So hopefully this video can help you avoid the same mistakes I made and also show the severity of taking that one little shortcut. Good luck in your woodshop. Bye.